Hey everybody, how's it going? On today's video, we are going to be talking about an audiobook series that I recently finished, the fourth book of that series. That is the latest audiobook that they have released right now. There will definitely be more to come, but I don't have any more information on that. I'm just talking about the first four books and really just to see if I can get you on a new series or maybe save you some time and money from a series you might not like. So, what series am I talking about? Well, that is Azarinth Healer. This is a series that I have loved and really enjoyed. There's only 4 audiobooks right now, but it is a really great story for those that will enjoy my prose. And, if you enjoy what I have to say, then this could be a series that you could really enjoy. I certainly do and am slightly biased. But let's go ahead and get into the details about this series. This series is written by Rhaegar and narrated by Andrea Parsnell. She is a very well-known narrator, and bringing her talents to this series is just one that is just very welcomed. And Rhaegar is one that I just really enjoy their writing and have from the first book all the way to the fourth book. It has just been a phenomenal experience and journey, and I can't wait for more. So let's get into a little summary about this series. I will leave a link to the first audiobook in the description of this video, so you can go ahead and check this out for yourself and read the summary from the author. But a little bit about the story is we find Elia Spears in just a day-to-day job, fast food, hating it, and just wants to go and just knock some people out. She is also working at a gym, and she's practicing just moves that she has. She's a fighter, but she's smart enough to know that, well, I don't want to go professional because I'm just going to be getting all these injuries and not having a great experience and a long lasting life. So she goes into college in sports medicine. That's what she's heading towards to. So as she's getting on with her mundane life and getting ready for her first days of college, we find that she goes to sleep one night and wakes up in a totally different place. She is freaking out. She's wondering where she's at. She is wondering why she is, in her PJs on the ground. But with a little bit of searching, a little bit of finding out, a little bit of running into monsters, and she's freaking out. She's like, I don't know what this is, but I'm not gonna, this is no comprende. So she stumbles on a secret temple with some fighting statues in different fighting positions. And then as she's about to get into a fight with some creatures, she is teleported away. And now she is learning a secret, class, a secret technique. Because yes, in this world, there are classes, levels, resistances, and monsters. And Elia has been isekai'd into this series by magic, and gets a little more detailed into later books about how that happened, and or speculate on how that happened. But yeah, it's a very interesting start to the series. Someone getting isekai'd, and now they need to fight or die. They need to sink or swim. So this is a very interesting one to start off with. Again, with all these videos, I know I touched on this a little bit earlier with this video. I'm really just trying to see if you want to get in this series. I really enjoy this series. I just finished book 4, the most recent audiobook at the time of this recording, and I just really enjoyed it. And sometimes when I miss talk about the first book in doing videos on it, then I just kind of like, well, let me get a couple some books ahead and just do kind of like a clump of, hey, there's all this series is good. Here's a bunch of like 1 through 4, so you can go enjoy it. And or with these videos, that if you don't enjoy what I have to say, then you save yourself some time. So in this case, I didn't talk about this with the first book, and then more books came, so I just decided to get to a point where I was like, hey, here's a bunch of books in this series that you can really enjoy, or not, and save yourself some time. But yeah, this series is just amazing, and I love it for certain reasons that might interest you and might not interest you. But let's go ahead and dive into some of those reasons that I would recommend Azarinth Healer to you. So first, there's 4 audiobooks right now. So if you're getting into this series, you end up liking what I'm saying, you've got 4 audiobooks to chew through, and that is just a lot of story, a lot of leveling up, a lot of resistance training, and a lot of interesting characters that you meet along the way in this universe and in this place that Elia gets kind of isekai into. So, like I was saying before, this is more of a, I'm not saying before, but like, this is a great brawler story. Elia is a fighter. She didn't want to mess herself up in a human-esque world where there was no magic, but she finds out through getting her specific class and getting into this world of magic that, hey, you can fight with your bare hands and heal, and you're not going to just degrade over a short period of time. So she was ecstatic about it and wants to fight more and more creatures and gain more and more resistances and levels. And so we find ourselves with Elia just constantly growing and fighting and wanting to find the next battle, the next fight. And so she kind of gets into this battle-crazed healer and gets a reputation for that. And people that she meets along the way and becomes friends with is kind of like, well, that's just Elia. She's just going in, knuckles blaring out, and magic abilities flying off the handle, and that's just her. She wants to get all those levels, wants to get stronger, and wants to get all those resistances so she can take on bigger and badder monsters and find the next Drake. So yeah, she's someone that the story is just basically on a brawler story where you're constantly fighting and finding the next fight. There are adventures, you're finding new civilizations, ones that are hidden away or have died out but have no explanation. And it's just kind of like Elia not quite stumbling upon it, but she's just, getting the next level. And while getting the next level, you stumble onto more of an adventure and mystery. And, she finds herself going into a secret organization called the Hand, a bunch of mercenaries, and then things happen there. And it's a crazy, intense story, and it's very focused on let's fight, let's brawl, let's go, let's level up, let's let's strategize a little bit, but hey, let's come on and just start throwing fists in Elia's case. But yeah, great story, and great fight scenes, and great detail to those scenes, and it's just pretty cool. It's just like, I don't know. It's amazing how it's written out and expressed in Rhaegar's writing. But yeah, I just really enjoyed it. Next, let's see. The pace of the growth of Elia is pretty simple to keep along, and you can kind of tell when as she goes along, gets more powerful and more skills and more abilities and evolving classes. It's just pretty easy to go along to, so that's nice. It's like there's no real complicated way that is Elia's style. Elia is a pretty simplistic person. Need bigger stick, go get bigger stick, or need bigger fist, need to smash bigger things and work on getting my fist bigger. It's not that simplistic as I make it sound, but it's pretty it's pretty easy to follow along. And yeah, so next we're moving on to the let's see, I'm just consulting my notes because I want to give you the best experience ever, and just I don't want to just babble on with all of the things I like and don't like about this series, or that you might not like or would like in this series. So I'm trying to make my handy dandy notes available to me so I can go ahead and articulate in a very compelling way that you might find that you will enjoy this series. So next, the world is quite interesting. The levels, the ways you get those levels, it's not just you do a couple things and you get this certain class. Sometimes people like Elia stumble onto some old ancient civilization or old ancient order that you can go ahead and get this super rare class or get these super rare abilities, and then you just have kind of like a leg up on this sort of society of kind of power hungry people. But yeah, it's definitely interesting to see the world and how it's built and how people get their abilities, how things are ran, and it's just very interesting. And also, we're talking about the world, the characters that Elia runs into, her future teams, the future creatures she runs into and befriends, the future Fae that are involved in this series that she gets involved with, and that storyline expands and becomes more interesting. And some of her questions that she's had for a long time throughout books 1 through 4 get answered later on in the series. I try not to, spoil things, and I'll try to keep, some things hidden, but some things might just slip out. So, yeah, the characters that Elia come across and the fights that she gets into are, interesting things that keep the story just like something that you just want to learn more about. Next, moving on. Let's see, like I said before, the mysteries and adventures that Elia gets into is very interesting and cool to see how things, how she stumbles upon things. She gets a lot of power fast, but with her going into getting that power and all of that, ability to attack stronger monsters, there is a lot of risk. In this world, healers are something that is very close-knit. Not a lot of people do healer, and like you can get multiple classes. In this universe, classes are, you can't have that many different classes. I think it's like pretty much your main class and your second class. And Elia has a special class where she can fight and heal, and then she gets another class that is creating ash and doing things with ash creation. Creation classes are very rare in this universe, and she gets that throughout 1 through 4. She just gets that and grows on it. Not to make it all simplistic in the story, it's something that she struggles with and overcomes and gains more power. And her Azarinth class, that's like also like a fighting healing class, is something that she really it's like there's just a mystery behind that. But yeah, the weak to power in this series, excuse me, is very interesting, and it's not without risk and reward, because there are times in the story where she pushes too far and she has to retreat, and then she has to overcome that like hesitancy of, oh man, there's this thing that could kill me, because there's a point in the series where she thinks she's kind of pretty much invincible. She can heal pretty quickly, but then there's these things throughout the story that just kind of gut check her, and it's like, oh, you're not as invincible as you think, and it's nice. And she does continuously grow in this series, and it's interesting to see how that works out, and all the interesting treasures she comes across, and the gold, and how she uses that gold to expand her her influence, because she does gain influence in this new world, because the powerful always do. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting story, and I hope you check it out. Now let's take a shift into maybe some of the things that you might not like about it. First, if you've been listening to me and gotten to this point and you've just not liked and nothing has been interesting, nothing has made you want to go ahead and check this out, then, well, that's the first con, that you just probably might not like the series. But here's a couple cons that I like to just lay out. I really like this series, so I'm a little biased. So it's hard to try, take some time to find some things that maybe some people might not enjoy about this series. And the things that I came up with in my little handy dandy notebook is sometimes it gets predictable. What I mean by that is Elia is pretty much a one-track mind person. She has, tasks, objectives to, meet, but it's pretty much like, yeah, we're going to go just make a path of like destruction and getting experiences and gaining levels. So it's pretty simple on when things are happening, and it's not terribly complicated in like how the story plays out. It's pretty like, okay, we're gonna point Elia that way, and she's gonna just gain levels and be a total badass the whole time. So yeah, I guess you could say it's a little bit predictable, but yeah. Next is let's see, the fights are pretty straightforward. Nothing is terribly complicated. She's always trying to figure out how she can do something different. But there's that. But I hate to fight my own con, but the writing while you're going into a fight and the intensity of the story and just how sucked in you get is like, I don't know, combats how simple it is. So yeah, I just gave one con, but then I gave it the pro of that. It's just, go ahead, check it out on Audible, hit the sample, listen to it for a little bit, read the summary from the author, and just, get your own opinion on this series and see if you would like it. I think if you're enjoying what I'm saying so far and you are a fan of Andrea Parsons, don't let that be the only reason that you go out and check out this book, because Rhaegar is a pretty a fantastic author, and the writing, when someone can get you into a scene or a point in the story so much that you just start like tunnel visioning on what's going on, especially in fight scenes, and that's what really excels in this series. That just check it out. It's pretty good. So let's go back cons. Just keep going back to these pros. Gotta find some faults within this story. Gosh. Next, let's see. If you are someone that enjoys a kind of more nerdy, in-depth, game lit RPG series, this might not be the one for you, because some things are pretty straightforward, some things are pretty like just mysterious, and yeah, there's some things you are trying to figure out, or Elia's trying to figure out throughout the story on what to do next, where to go, how to keep myself and my friends and loved ones safe in this new universe that I've have been isekai'd into and have growing my new home. So yeah, there's just a lot. But yeah, this is a great series, and I've tried to come up with some cons, but mainly is like, if you don't really like what I've had to say so far, that yeah, this is probably not the one for you. But if you like knockout, drag out, let's get into it fight scenes and badass female lead, this is one that you will enjoy. Elia is a pretty simple person, and at times, so yeah, there's just points where it's just kind of like, duh, this is what Elia would do. But at other times, there's just some funny scenes, and how she doesn't just take crap from nobody. And it's awesome to see and experience and read throughout this whole series. So yeah, that's what I've got for Azarinth Healer. I hope you enjoyed it. If you are someone that is watching this and has read or listened to Azarinth Healer, and you want to give a shout out to some of your favorite scenes, favorite points, or maybe some recommendations that some points that I didn't hit on that you'd like to say, leave in the comments below. I always love to get to talking with some people on series that I'm into. And Azarinth Healer is definitely one that I just really enjoy and love that just get it in there. Just put the books away, put all the stats. There is a lot of stats going on in this book, but just put all that away a little bit, and then let's just go ahead and just get the fists out and just go. Just start punching everything. And but yeah, Elia is not that mindless as sometimes I just talk about her as well. But she's a great main character, and this is a great series if you like intense, fight scenes and more of a fighting focus story. If you don't like a fighting focus story, this is probably not for you. But if that's your taste and what you like, then this is probably the one for you. So yeah, I hope throughout this video that you've just been interested and that you go check it out. Don't just take my word for it. Do a little bit more research as always that I recommend, because I don't want people just blindly believing, because my tastes might not be the same as your tastes. Right, Rhaegar, if you're watching this, or if anyone shows this to Rhaegar or links it to and shares it to them, thank you for this series. The series is amazing, and I can't wait for more and to see what Elia's next Drake is. And yeah, so without further ado, I'll let you go. Leave in the comments also what audiobooks you're currently listening to, whether they're lit RPGs or just maybe a book that is just really interesting. I'm always up for new audiobooks. That's the primary way that I go ahead and consume books. So yeah, without further ado, I'll let you get back to your books and I'll get back to mine. Without further ado, toodles!